So, perfect reading today from Reverend Brenda Ekatoli, the now. Because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about having gratitude for this now moment where we create from. And we've been speaking of our time celebrating and commemorating our personal individual growth and expansion by looking at where we've been, where we are, and where we are going. And we're calling all of this a bridge across time. It's really important for us, and I'm going to be interjecting this stuff in throughout the talk, to really stay present in the moment no matter what is going on around us, because there's a lot going on. But this, as I've said in previous talks, this is a place of respite. This is a place of neutrality where we can relax into this now moment. And in this now moment, as Miss Dana just said, we are feeling good. We are feeling blessed because we are. And that's what we are creating into the future. What we are doing now. So last week we explored the power of the present moment. The present moment awareness to fully experience our astonishing lights. Because we are powerful beings of creation, and I can't say that enough. When we feel helpless, hopeless, we are powerful lights, and that is the absolute truth. So this is kind of like part 2 of last week's, and so I want to begin here where I left off last week with the I Am poem that I read. So I'm going to read it again because I like it so much. I was regretting the past, fearing the future. Then suddenly, my Lord was speaking. My name is I Am. God paused. I listened. God continued. When you live in the past with its mistakes and regrets, it's hard. I am not there. My name is not I was. When you live in the future with its problems and tears and fears, it's hard. I am not there. My name is not I will be. When we live in this moment, it is not hard. I am there. My name is I am. Today, very powerful words, by the way, I am. Today we explore the deepest acceptance of this day, of this moment, and find that this is where our deepest joy and our greatest power of creation exists. Right now, you can't create in the past, from the past. You can't create from the future. I can't say this enough. I mean, it's for me too. That's why I'm saying it so much. We have to continuously bring our focus and awareness to the power of this now moment. Gratitude exists only in the present moment. It can't exist in the past or in the future. And I often get these notes that I've been sharing from the universe on email, Mike Dooley. And this one said, of all the wonderful places you'll go, of all the happy times you'll have, of all the adventures that now call unto you, each will be enhanced and will more quickly come to pass with your absolute immersion into today's places, times, and adventures. Don't you just love having so much control? This is the point of control, the now moment. And we only have control over ourselves. We can't control what's going on anywhere else, but we can control ourselves, which means we can be in charge of our own consciousness. And that consciousness expands incredibly, exponentially it expands. So when we practice being our light, which can be challenging at times, that light is radiating out. And the more of us that do this work, the more powerful we become. All the wonderful places you'll go, all the happy times you'll have, and all the adventures that now call you will be enhanced so much quicker. And when you are totally, fully present for today's activities, for right here, right now, we're in this space of love. This is a space of acceptance, of freedom, of openness. That's what this now moment is filled with. Scripture tells us, this is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. We will rejoice and be glad in it. It's a powerful affirmation. We will rejoice in it. What is the word rejoice? That's a powerful word right there. You don't hear it often. Rejoice in this moment. Not, hey, come on, let's rejoice. Let's give it a try. If it's not too much effort. Let's do it if everything is lining up to our liking. No. We will rejoice in the now. That takes this whole quote to a whole nother level. Today's the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice in it. And to make it even more powerful, today is the day the Lord has made. And I now rejoice in it. Not will. We don't get rid of the will. The reading was so perfect because the will is in the future. Now. I now will rejoice in it. So I'd like to read something. It's a poetic way of rejoicing in the day that I found on the great internet. And it's called Possibilities Abound. Sunlight drops its golden paint on the quiet surface of a mountain stream, and a new day is born. What a shame it would be to let this day pass without putting fresh goodness in it. From rocky ledges to cool valleys, in the countryside and in cities across the globe, possibilities abound. Life is here to be lived, and now is the time to live it. Like water swiftly flowing, the opportunities of this day will soon be nothing more than memories. Now is your one and only chance to make them positive. Experience satisfying memories by making full use of the opportunities. Now is your chance to make new value where none existed before. Now when you are inspired to let go of excuses and to cast off any thought of procrastination is when you can act. Though the challenges may seem great and the circumstances may appear to be less than perfect, today's possibilities beg you to seize them. To the extent you do, your life and your world will benefit. This is your day to do what you can, and you can indeed do much if you will say yes to life, to the possibilities that abound. And so now, get going. That was the end part. I want to return to one line from that reading. Though the challenges may seem great and the circumstances may appear to be less than perfect. So I'm going to share a story from a colleague who has a Lutheran church in California, and she shared this with me. And this is about the director of her music ministry. It's just an example. This director was a pretty famous jazz musician, and I, for purposes of confidentiality, will not name him. The minister had gotten to know this young man pretty well because they worked very closely together regarding the church's music. The congregant shared with his minister a mantra he lives by and said it saved his sanity more than once when he was working with the jazz musicians and experienced the challenge of frequent changes of the stress of live performances, if you can relate, that sometimes this was difficult. It's difficult working with a bunch of musicians, all of whom had a strong opinion of their own, etc. These kinds of challenges. What seemed to be great or circumstances which appeared to be less than perfect, he developed a practice to always, now everybody's hot, right? I made it hot in here, okay. So he developed this practice by saying, it's all gonna work out. And his mantra became, it always works out. It always works out. We have lots of little mantras today and affirmations to use when our mind seems to wander off into the futility of what looks like this country at the moment. So it's really important that we keep our consciousness clean and clear. And so these affirmations will do that. These mantras, which is an affirmation repeated many times, will do that. This musician was also a stay-at-home dad to a 2-year-old, very verbal, very precocious. And this little boy hears dad say this regularly. No matter what the situation, it always works out. The little guy likes to take his daily walks in a stroller, and he loves to visit the neighbors. And he particularly likes to visit a woman called Nellie. So the other day, he and his dad took the stroller out, and the little boy says, now remember he's 2, let's go visit Nellie. Dad said, well, son, we can try, but I'm not sure Nellie will be home right now. But he calmly replies, Nellie's always home. Isn't that a concept of it always works out? Put into practice, actually. Dad actually tried to talk the son out of the idea that Nellie is always home, since she isn't always home. He wasn't sure if she would be home at that time, and he didn't want his little son to be disappointed. But to no avail, 2-year-old. The little boy insisted that Nellie is always home, and he wanted to go there. So they went to her house, and lo and behold, Nellie was out. She wasn't there. What do you suppose this little boy did? A lot of little ones would start to throw a fit, have a tantrum. They didn't get their own way. A lot of us would also throw a fit when we don't get our own way. Maybe you can relate to that. Still working on it. Well, he didn't do that. Rather, he said with complete calm in his voice, that's okay. She's just out. But she'll come home because she's always home. And they went on their walk, happy as can be. The master teacher, Jesus, said in order to enter the kingdom of heaven, we must be as little children. A lot of knowledge in children if we pay attention and stop indoctrinating them with our beliefs. There's so much for us to learn from that little guy. First, he had the attitude that Nellie is always home. despite appearances. It didn't make a difference if she was home or not. Nellie's always home. Do we not feel the same way about what we call God? God is always home. Whether challenges and circumstances come up and it looks like, where's God? Where's God in this circumstance? God is always present. You are an emanation of God, always present within us. It can't go anywhere. God is always home, always home. So, in comparison, do we have the attitude that God is always home within us? Because sometimes we don't feel that way. That's when we use these affirmations. That's when we make the mantras. Do we have the deep knowing, a rock-solid faith, a surety that goes beyond the head and penetrates the heart, that God is present in, around, and through us, always, all times? Nothing can really harm us. Nothing. You know how many people need to hear we are safe, no matter what the appearances are? I'm here to tell you that this morning. We are safe because God is always home. We can know that that is true by our reaction to any appearance to the contrary. Our equivalent of she's just sat for a little while could be knowing that despite appearances in this moment, all is working out for our highest good. All is working out. It's all working out. When we bring this idea that all is working out to the present moment, we have a greater acceptance of this moment. And in that space, that sacred space, so always the eternal now, that sacred space, our joy is revealed. Or sometimes it doesn't feel like joy. Let's just say our well-being is revealed. Our ability to create even greater well-being is empowered. Remember our affirmation that we have been using all month. My life is unfolding perfectly, no matter what. Such a great affirmation. I had to steal it from my teacher because it's so great. My life is unfolding perfectly, and the key part is no matter what. No matter what. Outside appearances will always be there. Circumstances will always be there. It's your knowing, even when the appearances seem to be affecting you, that no matter what, my life is unfolding perfectly. There's a story told about a woman Zen master. Her name was Sono. She taught one very simple method of enlightenment. She advised everyone who came to her to adopt a mantra. And so far we've had a few today. Your first being, it always works out. And her mantra was very simple. It was, thank you for everything. I have no complaints whatsoever. Wow. That's like living the 4 agreements all rolled into one right there. I have no complaints whatsoever. That's one to practice. So, many people, as you can imagine, from all arenas of life came to Sono for healing. Some were in physical pain. Others were emotionally distraught. Others had financial troubles. Some were seeking soul liberation. No matter what their distress was, or what the question they asked her, her response was always the same. Adopt this mantra, then say it many times under all conditions, she said. Thank you for everything. I have no complaints whatsoever. Some people, they went away very disappointed. Other people went away very angry. Others tried to argue with her. Yet, Some people took her suggestion to heart and began to practice it. Tradition tells that everyone who practiced Sona's mantra found peace and healing. Thank you for everything. I have no complaints. Wow. Wow. That's all I can say about that one. Try it though. What's the option? Chaos and confusion? Disturbing thoughts? No. Wallace Waddell, in his book, The Science of Getting Rich, wrote this on page 113. Never allow yourself to feel disappointed. You may expect to have a certain thing at a certain time and not get it at that time. And this will appear to you like failure. But if you hold to your faith, you will find that failure is only apparent. Go on in this certain way, and if you do not receive that thing, you will receive something so much better. You will see that seeming failure was really a great success. How many times in our lives have we been disappointed because we didn't get the job we wanted, the relationship we wanted, whatever it is that we wanted? And then something better came along. And if we would have gotten that earlier thing, that something better had no room to come in. We're creating, remember, in the power of this now moment. And one of my personal mantras is, everything is in divine right order. The universe always works for my highest good. Especially when I'm traveling. I love divine right order when I'm traveling. Things can be late and, go down that rabbit hole. Yeah. But if everything's in divine right order, then everything is happening exactly as it is supposed to. We want our futures to be a certain way. Well, what are you thinking and doing in this now moment to create that future? This is the point of creation, this moment now. The only point really that exists. What are we thinking? What's predominant in our thoughts? Because that's what we're creating. And I cannot emphasize that enough, how important it is to create our future from this very powerful moment and constantly be in the flow of what we want to experience. If it's peace, don't think of chaos constantly. We are powerful creators. We are so powerful. And this is so important to remember, that we can create our lives. Life doesn't just happen to us. It happens for us when we take control. So let's end today where we began, by looking one more time at the I Am presence. You are already completely and totally in tune with the infinite. Already. Even if you don't know that, I know that. I know that for each one. And you can access the truth about yourself simply by proclaiming, I am. So right now, I invite you to feel comfortable. You can take a moment of pause. You can close your eyes while I read the I am to you. The I am, that is the true nature of yourself, is all love, all joy, all wisdom. It is peace, providence, grace, and magnificence. And it is beyond all appearances of challenges. Inviting that I am into your life brings forth a new joy into this very moment, this very day, and the next day, and the next. And I declare it in this present moment. And then day by day, You will see God working in, through, and as you more clearly. You will live a life more dearly, and you will align with your highest and best good more dearly and more clearly. You can join us, you can open your eyes, you can close. So all of this will happen day by day as you move into the deepest acceptance and gratitude of this day. Gratitude, that high vibration of gratitude. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us truly rejoice. And so.
So good.